Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Boss Talk with Moet. Of course, you already know that I am Moet. For those of you guys that don't know me, you definitely can follow me everywhere on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, anything that's IAMMOETT. And for those of you guys that don't know the purpose of this show, the purpose of this show is to allow other people that are creating, that are building, whether they're business owners, artists, whatever the case may be, to be able to come on and tell their story, to be able to come on and share their gems, whatever insights that they have along their journey, because you can always learn from somebody else's story. Now, today I have a super dope individual that is very inspirational, very high energy, very goal driven, very helping to other people and everything like that. I met him through Facebook. He's a Facebook friend of mine, but he's super dope, super amazing individual. I've had coaching sessions with him. He does amazing work. His work speaks for itself. His education speaks for itself. His experience speaks for itself. And I'm going to allow him to introduce himself. So, Cory, go ahead and tell the people who you are, what you
All
do, how
right.
they can follow you, and all of that good stuff.
I appreciate it, Moet. Yeah, so I'm a high performance coach first and foremost. So essentially helping online business owners, optimize themselves. Like you said, get in that energy state where they're feeling good, feeling healthy, feeling confident, and ready to dominate. So that's that's what I do. It's my game.
Awesome. And how can they follow you?
Yeah. So essentially, I'm on Instagram. It's C_UTEK. That's really my main page. So.
Awesome. So how long
Yep.
have you been doing this? How long have you been doing high performance coaching?
It's been about 7 years in total, which is crazy to say. It's like, time definitely flies by, and I haven't been doing high performance coaching the whole time. Essentially, it's like I started a marketing agency, scaled that up. Then I went on to be a high ticket closer, and then shortly after that, I kind of got sick of working for other people, so went out and started my own thing shortly after.
Nice. Nice.
So, but high performance coaching has been about a year in specific. So,
Okay. That's pretty dope. So
yeah.
what gave you the initiative to just be like step out from behind working with other people to just be like,
Hmm.
all right, let me go and do this thing on my own because I'm making it happen for other people. Let me go and
Uh-huh.
make this happen for myself. What was kind of like that turning point?
That's a great question. I think for me, it actually, funny enough, came from a place of pain. So I think pain is oftentimes one of like the biggest drivers. Like I'm one of the worst employees on the planet, right? Like I can't stand working for other people. So I said, you know what? If I feel this way, I know other people feel this way. And it's like, how can I, because I had a business essentially before I went to work for other people again, I ended up shutting that down and actually burnt out. That's why I shut that down. My story is like I scaled my marketing agency to, 20, $30,000 months, but ultimately I had to shut it down, right? Because I burnt out. I didn't even know what to do with myself. I mean, it was just, I had 20 clients. I was super young and I just didn't know how to handle that kind of stress. So I ended up shutting that down, but then I ended up getting into remote closing. And most people I think have heard of that at this point. Um, and actually went to work for Cole Gordon, and it's nothing against those guys. I really at that point wanted to do my own thing, and I felt like, hey, I've learned so much here, and why not? So now it's like I help people not make the same mistakes I did after, I've now scaled multiple brands to 5 figures a month. And it's like, how can we do that in a healthy, positive way is now my mission. So yeah, it was really pain though, to be honest with you. I just couldn't work for other people any longer. So
Right, right.
yep,
I totally like I think like a lot of us get to that point where it's like, bro, screw this. This is not it.
I'm out.
Honestly. So in regards to like you talked about burnout, like burning out at the other industry you're at. Like how
Yeah,
do you manage that now and what are like some tips and strategies that you would give to someone to just like help with that, like to not burn out?
totally. Yeah. So I think the biggest thing for me is self care. And I think that's kind of a term that's like kind of watered down now. Everybody talks about, hey, self care, blah blah blah, but it's like truly. giving yourself what you need. Whether that's like just if you need to take a week off, you need to take a month off, do it. To being like your business is going to be okay, right? It's, especially if you set things up the right way, like we, help people do. But I think the biggest thing is really giving yourself what you need. And, that looks so different for so many people. Like for me, it's like on the weekends, I play video games. Like I'm a nerd, right? So it's like, that's just like my little escape. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know what I mean? And it's like getting out in nature, it's different for everybody, right? But I think it's like really listening to your body, to your mind, to your spirit, and not judging it. You know what I mean? I think that alone is huge. And then obviously, there's other stuff like, routines and getting proper sleep. Obviously, sleep is a huge part of that. We work pretty deeply on sleep. But also just setting up your business the right way, right? So, really making sure that you have proper systems in place, that you're hiring the right people, that kind of stuff. Like, again, these were just mistakes that I made. Like, I was just trying to do it all on my own. I had like one assistant, but I probably needed like three. You know what I mean? At that point. So I think it's a combination of kind of giving yourself what you need, doing the obvious stuff like sleep, diet, nutrition, exercise, and then also just setting up your business the right way, ultimately. Right.
Right,
So,
right. I definitely see all of that. And all of that does play into part with everything that you have to do. So, in regards to like coaching, because we're coaches, we help people with different things in their life. What
yeah.
type of things would you say that people should be mindful of whenever getting a coach, whenever
Mm.
being willing to work with someone, as far as like being coachable, being willing to go through the process and different things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me is like number one, obviously like, you want to find somebody that you can just like kind of, I mean, there's a couple different styles of coaching, right? It's like, there's coaches who are a little bit more like they're gonna tell you what's up. They're not gonna hold back. They're just gonna lay it on you, right? Like there's those kinds of coaches. And then there's coaches who are just gonna listen to you, right? There's coaches who are just gonna be there for you. So I think you kind of want to look for almost like a combination of both, right? Like I think what makes you and I probably pretty good coaches is like, we're very personable. Obviously, I've had the chance to get to know you over the past few weeks, but we can also tell people the truth, and we can just kind of lay it on people when we need to, right? Because sometimes you just need to hear the truth. It's like, dude, you're just not like putting in the effort, right? Like sometimes people need to hear that, right? So I think it's a combination of finding somebody who can just like genuinely like emotionally support you, but then also like just be a truth teller. Show you where you're coming up short. Do they have kind of have they taken a path that I want to take? Like yourself, it's like you've had this awesome transformation that I've had the chance to hear about. Does Moet have what I want to have, right? And if I want to set up a podcast, if I want to boss up like Moet has, right? You also just want to make sure that they're almost kind of where you want to be. Is that I think another thing to really look out for, big time.
Right, right. That's totally correct. Like, cause you have to be mindful of all of those things and everything like that. So,
There's a lot of
like,
coaches out there.
right, there are a slew of coaches out there. So, which everybody has their own niche. Everybody has their own niche.
That's the
Everybody has
thing.
their own thing, and it's just a matter of seeing what works for you.
What
And
works for you?
in regards to like your career, in regards to your business and everything like that, what has been one of the biggest accomplishments that you have accomplished so far?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say for me, it's going to be starting this business and scaling it up to a point where it's like it's a full time, comfortable income. I feel like when I did make some of those mistakes I talked about with my marketing agency, like I always kind of like I was like, man, I did love that. I did love the freedom that came with. And I think once I got into high ticket closing, I always kind of wondered, will I be able to get back to that? And there was definitely like a fear, another, fear of failure. It's like, man, if I do that again, is the same thing going to happen to me? And obviously, knock on wood, so far it hasn't, right? Now I have tools and mentors and just a lot of knowledge around how to kind of maintain this pace, and we bring in, 5 to 10 new clients per month, right? And obviously, we're about to launch ads and stuff like that. So this has been actually like a huge accomplishment. Just I think getting this to a point where it's a livable, consistent income. I'm comfortable. I've multiple employees that I help them take care of their families, and at 27 years old, that's obviously that's a huge responsibility, but it's also a huge just you feel a great deal of satisfaction. I think anytime you can help people, like genuinely help people, whether they're within your company or clients, it's just so gratifying. And I feel like I'm finally doing stuff that I actually like love to do. You have that moment where it's like, this does not feel like work. And this is really, I think, a business that doesn't feel like work for me.
That is
So
amazing.
yeah.
That
So
is
it's been good.
amazing. I know we hear about that in school where it's like, oh, you got to find out what doesn't feel like work whenever it
What you
doesn't feel
love,
like work.
you can talk
Right.
about
Exactly. Like, and you're actually living the dream. So that is amazing. And not only just you living the dream, but also providing for other people and giving
it. Yeah,
other people the
that's what it's all
opportunity to
about.
live it. Right. That is amazing. So I know you spoke a little bit about mentors. Like,
Mhm.
how did you find your mentor, and what are some tips that you would give someone else in regards to finding a mentor?
That's a great question. So, I've invested in myself, a handful of times, some pretty expensive mentorships. And um, I think, it's like you just seek people out, you ask those questions, like you said, you kind of poke and prod, like, is this somebody I would actually want to, partner up with? Is this somebody I would enjoy being around? Is this somebody who kind of has like my ideal outcome in this specific arena? Right. So I invested in a course. I think I was probably like 21. I flunked out of college. Right. I was working at Domino's. I was living out of my car at one point. And I get chills just thinking about it. And I literally just, I had a buddy. That's how that happened. That's crazy to think about. I had a buddy who was sharing testimonials of people starting an agency, and I saw people making, 10, 15, $20,000 a month. I was like, what is that? I clearly need to, you know, switch my life up. I'm looking around me like this is not it, right? Um, and even before that, I invested in Ty Lopez's course. So he was like the original like course creator. Not many people realize he was like the first to do this stuff. So I'd started to do like some web design and digital marketing, and then I saw one of my buddies from Indy. He was posting results, and I was like, "Hey, man, I would love to, hear about that." And that's how I got my first few mentors, and then that mentor introduced me to, you know, uh, people I went on to work for, like Cole Gordon, and I got to train sales reps for, Grant Cardone and Tony Robbins and Jay Shetty and all these amazing people, and I got to meet some of them, right? And Eli Wild, and it's amazing how I think you take a risk on yourself. I mean, at the time, I literally had no money to my name. Right, I somehow came up with a credit card, and I was just like, dude, I got nothing to lose. Literally nothing right now. So I think I just took that risk, and it's like your mentors will introduce you to new mentors, right? I think that's often it's like they get you in the room, right? Um, but that's how it happened for me. That was my first introduction to mentorship. Ty Lopez, funny enough.
Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah,
And I know like a lot of people underestimate that story of having to actually go through some things to be able to get to some things because they feel
yeah.
like it's just supposed to happen overnight.
Uh-huh.
So talk a little bit about that as far as like people that feel like, oh, they just can't do it because they're limited. Of course, that's limited
Yeah.
beliefs that we know in regards to that, that a lot of people have to overcome. But
Yep.
also just talk in regards to the fact of how you're going to go through some things and you got to get through
Yeah.
those things to get to the place that you want to be.
And they're going to be the best things that ever happened to you. I look back on that time in my life. I went through a horrible breakup, and I was having other stuff going on. I had, just anxiety issues and all kinds of stuff, right? And I look back, like, that definitely, like, chiseled away at me to be the person I am today and be able to lead people. And at the time, obviously, it felt like, when is this going to end? This is horrible, right? But looking back, it was actually like the best thing that happened to me, because now it's like, you have a hater online, or you have like this little stuff that would normally, I think, like, knock off most people and just discourage most people. And of course, you always are going to have trials and tribulations. Like, it never ends, right? There's never just a moment where, oh, like, it's all good. I still have problems. We all have problems forever until we die, right? But it's like, now I think when I go through new stuff, it's like it's nothing, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's like, you end up just being super grateful, and it's like, I definitely wouldn't at all, the person I am without that. I mean, I had to drive for Uber for, like, 3 years while I was starting my business. I mean, I was so broke for so long, and um, Instacart. I mean, I would sell stuff just to survive. Like, it's like, it was really like a grind, but looking back, like, I'm so glad I went through that, and I didn't, like, just, ask my parents for money, because obviously, we all have people we can reach out to, but it's like, I think if you go through it by yourself and you don't take the easy way out, like, that's going to sharpen you into somebody that so many people, I think, can look up to, lead them as well.
Right. That's amazing. I know I'm really big on the fact of you can't speak from a place of experience without having experienced it. So
Yeah.
it's super dope, the resiliency and just seeing how far you've come, how much you've risen, how resilient you are, and at a young age. So you still got like a whole lot of life to live. So
It's
you are
crazy.
really great.
I
So
appreciate that from
what is
you.
the next big step for you?
Next big step, yeah, I really want to scale this company to, multiple seven figures, even eight figures. Like, I really do think it has the potential. Just being in, kind of like early stages of a lot of these offers, you see that it's like, obviously it's hard, but it's pretty simple, right? You just have to get to the point where you're generating a certain amount of leads, and obviously this is what we help people with, right? Outside of high performance coaching, is, you're generating leads, and you're just taking sales calls, and then eventually you outsource, the marketing, and you outsource the sales, and then you're fulfilling and you're getting results. um, so it's like, it's hard, but it's simple, right? So I think just being able to see behind that curtain of, like I said, I worked for, eight-figure founders, right? And I really got to rub shoulders with a lot of really cool people, and you just see, it's like, man, you know, there's no difference between me and you, right? I could definitely do that, and that's the truth. Anybody could. It's just a matter of, believing that you can. And I'm so grateful for those experiences, because you just see that it's possible, and that's definitely the goal for me, is just to keep scaling this up and help, hopefully, a lot of people, for sure.
Right,
So
definitely. And you are going to
that's
help a
next
lot of
steps.
people. Everything that you post, everything that you do, you're consistently helping people on a
uh,
continuous basis. So,
I appreciate that.
definitely, you're doing
Value
an
first,
amazing
right?
thing. That's
You get
right.
that.
That's right. You got to provide the value because that's what allows people to definitely tap in. And not only that, but it allows them to be able to still get something instead of feeling like, well, what is this? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
because it's not like we're entertainers and stuff where we just entertain. We're actually having to be like, no, this is what it is.
yeah, yeah.
So definitely. So let's talk
You
about
you
your
found a
link.
way to. I just want to say you found a way to make it entertaining and valuable. I need to get with you on how to start a podcast.
Hey, definitely, definitely. I'm actually thinking of I'm gonna create a course. It's definitely on my to-do list to create
Hell
a
yeah.
course because I've had a couple of people ask me and everything. Of course, I'm focusing on like my coaching and everything right now. So that way I can continue to grow that. But as far as like podcasting, definitely helping people start up their podcast and do
Yeah.
different stuff because I have like a lot of connections and a lot of different things like that. So
Love
definitely,
it.
definitely. But so let's talk about your link. Let's talk about how people can connect with you, what they'll find whenever they go here, different things like that.
Yeah, so this is just our website. It's a simple, little landing page essentially to walk you through our whole process, our philosophy. You'll see essentially it's like, okay, we first get you optimized, get you feeling good, whether you're an existing online business owner or you want to start one. I think that is the first steps is, ultimately it's usually personal stuff that can keep you from hitting your goals, right? So we talk through a lot of that stuff one on one. I work with people personally. We have group calls, we have, a whole mastermind, a whole course. But it's like once we do that, then maybe we need some, offer creation type stuff. Right? Any type of online high ticket business owner, you guys will see kind of our process, whether you need to just work on some stuff personally for the business or both. Or you're just at the point of, hey, I want to get into this stuff. I want to start either an agency or a coaching program or, just a consulting firm, right? That'll really walk you through step by step our process and also just some case studies of clients. We've had people hit 10, 20, 30, $60,000 a month. We're only about 6 months into this thing. So, it's a great community and yeah, that link will break it all down. You get in touch
Amazing.
with us at the contact form or it'll take you to my socials as well. So,
Amazing. Awesome. Awesome. So, one last question. If
sure.
you could go back and talk to your younger self, like before all of
Yeah.
this, before everything, what would you say to you?
I love that question. Love that question. It's going to be okay. Yeah, that's what I would say is like, because we have those moments, like I said, where I, was I flunked out of school. I was working at Domino's, scrubbing dishes at 4 in the morning. Call centers, Uber, like all that stuff. It was like I knew that I was making a sacrifice to have a better life than just like somebody who has a typical 9 to 5. I knew I didn't want that, and that's ultimately why I think I didn't do so well in school because I just knew that I was maybe meant for more, right? But at the time, it was like everybody around me was just like, "What are you doing?" Right? It was just I had like other than like a few people, like parents, of course, and a couple friends and family, but it was hard, man. And I think it's like it's so easy to forget that this is just temporary. Whether and I still go through that stuff, but looking back, if I could just tell myself like, hey, be patient, keep your head down, and it's you're gonna be good. That's what I would say.
Right. That's amazing. That is amazing. Oftentimes we forget to give ourselves that grace. And
Yeah,
oftentimes, whenever you're going through it, then it's like, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna get through this, but it's amazing to be able to get through it. So, again,
absolutely.
major props to you, major shout out to you.
Thank
Keep
you.
being amazing, keep rising, keep growing, keep helping everyone to bring out the best versions of themselves and make their dreams come into
Likewise.
reality as well. So, I want to take the time to thank you. Thank you for coming on my platform. Thank you for sharing your
Thank you.
story. Thank you for everything. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. If you're watching the replay, definitely thank you. If you didn't catch any gems, I highly suggest starting this over from the beginning and running it back through because some gems was definitely dropped. But definitely thank you so much, Cory. Again, one moment, let the people know where they can follow you at, how they can tap in with you, how they can connect with you, all of that good stuff.
Totally. So yeah, I'm on, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Just Cory Utecht. I think I'm the only Cory Utecht out there. I have a pretty weird last name. So you can check me out on all that stuff. I'd love to connect with you guys. I message with you guys personally and always looking to help. So all the above. And yeah, my IG is C underscore UTEK. So I'd love to connect. for
All
sure.
right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, remember that life is too short to be anything but motivated. Now get out there and turn your dreams into a vision and make that your reality. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.